She's the forefront blogger on Instagram marketing, and her blog, Jenn's Trends, has won the title of a top 10 social media blog in 2014, 2015, and 2016. Through her blog, consulting, and speaking, Jenn provides tips, resources, and training for small to medium-sized businesses that need to structure their social media strategies. Her business background includes administration, sales, human resources, and marketing. And she enjoys bringing all these skills together to help you grow your business. Jenn has been featured in Inc., Fox News, Yahoo Finance, HuffPost, The Verge, CBS Radio LA, and numerous other podcasts and publications. She's the author of Instagram for Business for Dummies. I knew that book. The Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Instagram, and Stop Guessing, your step-by-step guide to creating a social media strategy. We were introduced to Jenn through NAM, and sorry, at Summer NAM last year. She was absolutely fabulous, and we're very honored she's going to be spending the day with us. So without further ado, let's welcome Jenn Herman.
Today. I'd like to keep you people going, so we're going to be lively. We're going to talk about lots of things today. We're specifically talking this morning about marketing to the generations. So really, are we all that different? The boomers all the way down, are we really all that different? Who are my boomers in the audience? How many of my boomers? Okay. How many of you remember this song? Who's the most adult part of Kenny Rogers, right? Okay, so we're my millennials. Yes. Okay, how many of you remember this song? I don't usually dance on stage. So yes, each generation really is different from the others. But your message doesn't have to change, just the context of it does. So funny story about those two songs and why I picked them. The Get a Superstar that I know came out when I was in high school. I'm technically a millennial. My brother's 3 years younger than me. We're in the car. We're totally jamming out. We are rapping along. We are doing it. My mom's in the car. The hook comes on with Maya, and my mom is a boomer. Starts singing to that song. What are you doing? What crazy things is my mom doing when I go to bed that she knows this song? What? I was so confused. I literally looked at her like, huh? How do you know this song? She's like, oh, honey, I know the original. So it was the same hook, it's the same context, or the same message, just in a different context for two different generations. So for example, what does this look like? I got my girl, Jessica, down here. I'm calling you out, girl. Hey, girl, hey! How's it going?
No.
Good. Are you totally loving the conference? Like, legit learning so much while we're here, right?
Show.
Go show! Versus, hi, how's it going? How are you? Me too. Exact same message, two completely different ways of sharing that message, depending on who you're talking to. And this is the type of stuff that we're going to be talking about today. My name is Jenn Herman. That is Jenn with two N's. Because I was born in 1980 with a bazillion other Jennifers, and I had to distinguish myself somehow, so I'm everywhere as Jenn with two N's. I do like to talk fast. If you listen slow, I do apologize. That's on you, not on me. Keep up. As mentioned, I did write Instagram for Business for Dummies. I am known in the world of social media for Instagram. That's usually what I'm brought in to talk about. And I do have copies of Instagram for Business for Dummies here today, if you guys want to buy copies. And I'm doing 2 sessions later today, which are going to be all things Instagram. It's going to be amazing. So come hang out if you want to learn Instagram. But I actually work with my clients in social media context in general, strategy across all platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all those sorts of things. So today we're going to be looking at basically marketing to the generations across all social media. We're not just talking Instagram this morning. I want you to walk out of here today. I want you to know who your audience is. I want you to know how to talk to them. Yo, girl, what's up? Hi, it's great to see you. How are you going to talk to your audience? That's what you're going to leave here knowing today. And I want you to know how to create content specifically for them to make sure that they get the message and to make sure you keep up your engagement and your conversions. So the first thing we need to do is find your target audience. So raise your hand if you feel like you have a good handle on your target audience when it comes to marketing. Okay, there's a few of you. But hopefully by the end you'll feel much more confident that either if you don't know it now, you can go back to work next week and figure it out really easily. So in general, more followers equals more sales. Yes, but no. It's easy to be like, well, I want 50,000 followers because that means I can sell to all 50,000 people. Well, no. If those 50,000 people don't care about what you do as a business, then having 50,000 followers is irrelevant. I would rather have you have 1,000 followers than 50,000, assuming those 1,000 are genuinely interested in what you have to offer and will actually buy from you. That's more valuable. But obviously, if you can have 1,000 great followers versus 500, then 1,000 is better than 500. So more is better if they are the right people. So if you want to grab phones and grab screenshots of any of these slides, you are more than welcome to at any point. This is a long list of things that you can look at to define your target audience. It may be broad, but we want to get as narrow as possible when determining your target audience. Are you talking to women 30 to 35 who are single, have a child, live in a certain geographical area, make a certain amount of money, and have a very specific hobby? That is a very niche audience versus, well, we target men and women aged 30 to 60 who live anywhere in the U.S. and pretty much make as much money as possible. That's a very broad audience. So your audience may be broad, that's okay, but we want to get it as specific as possible. We're going to talk a lot about age range today, but other things you want to look at are things like gender. Are you looking at males or females? That's going to potentially target how you craft your content. Geographical areas, a lot of you, I'm assuming, are local businesses where you have a local footprint that you're trying to attract audience. That's a good thing. You have a very target audience in a very specific space. You also want to look at things like family status. So they married, or they divorced, they have kids, not have kids, all those sorts of things. That also ties into career experience. Are these people who are fresh out of college? Are they people who are at the ends of their careers? Are they starting a second career or starting a business? That's going to impact their spending habits. It's going to impact their time and availability to do different things. Income status ties into that as well. Interests and hobbies. You guys have a pretty good interest topic. Music, right? They either want to learn to play music, maybe they're teaching music, maybe they're looking specific for your instruments, maybe they're in a band, whatever. You have people in a very specific interest group. So check the box. You already got that marked off. You want to know how and when they're spending time on social media. Are they using social media to connect with friends and family? Are they using it to connect with new people, make new friends and new network connections? Are they using it for research, for work, for fun? Why are they using social media? Because that's going to impact how you craft content to give to them. If you are on there only to hang out with your friends and family, chances are you're not going to be following a lot of brands. So if they do choose to follow your company, how do you tie in a way that the message is consistent with friends and family conversation versus, hey, I got something for sale? That's not what they want. That's not why they're there. They didn't log on in the morning to see if you have a guitar for sale. They logged in to see what Betty Sue is doing this weekend. So how do you craft content accordingly? You need to know how they're using social media and when they're on social media? Are they on social media in the morning? Do they have a commute where they are on a subway, they're using a train system, or they do social media activities in the early morning and late evening hours? Is your person, your target audience, a mom who is not using social media during the day and is more likely to use it at night when the kids go to bed? Is it a younger audience who don't have it during the day because they're at work or at school and they're using it evenings and weekends? When they're online is important to you as well. You also want to know what type of content they ingest. Who here likes to read content? Okay, who here likes to watch videos? See, that's a 50-50 split almost. I'm a reader. I hate videos. People do not talk fast enough for me to keep up. I listen fast. They talk slow. I have to fast forward videos. I have to put everything on like 3 times speed to get through these things. I don't have that much time in my life. But reading, I can scan really quick and keep up with everything and keep moving at the pace I want to move. I like written content. And I've built an audience on my blog around written content. I don't get as much traffic off of videos because I've built over the last 6 years an audience who likes to read content because I prefer writing. But if your audience likes videos, you gotta give them videos, which I do. I don't love it, but I do it. Because that's what they want. I gotta give them what they want. You also need to know if they want short form or long form content. Are they watching 15, 30-second videos, or are they watching 5, 10, 30-minute videos? I do a live show every other Wednesday on Instagram, and it's an hour show. Every other Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm live for an hour, and it's webinar style. And people will tune in and watch that whole hour. Apparently, people like to listen to me talk. But some people only want to watch a 5-minute video and be done. So my YouTube channel has videos that are 5-minute increments for little quick tips so that they can get the content they want in the type of format they want to ingest it. You're going to need to know what social media sites your audience uses. And we're going to talk about that in some of the content today about the different generations and what platforms they typically use. But if your audience is not on Instagram, why would you be there? No matter what I tell you about how awesome it is, if your audience isn't there, you don't need to be there. You need to know why they're using social media, and you need to know how they engage on social media. So here, who is a lurker? Meaning you're on social media, you scroll through. Yes, raise your hands and shame people. Raise them up there. Thank you. Who's a really big lurker during political season? Right? I don't like anything during political season. I got the full spectrum of people in my Facebook world. No, I don't like anything. I don't want to open any of those cans of worms. I can be a bit of a lurker. I will read things. I will look at all your photos. I'm cyber stalking you all day, but you don't know it because I didn't click that like button. I'm a lurker. That's okay. Versus the active people who, like, every time you post, they're like, commenting, leaving weird comments from Aunt Sue over here. You're like, oh, come on. So there's different ways that people interact. And I've literally had people come up to me that I'm at a conference like this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have been following you. I have read every one of your blog posts for 3 years. What's your name? I've never heard of you. They've never once liked anything, commented on anything, sent me an email, but they have read every single one of my pieces of content for 3 years. That's a lurker. I know they're out there. I know they're getting my content. I just don't know who they are. They're ghosts. But you need to know how your audience is interacting so that you can make sure you're still creating the right content to drive that value. So now that we've narrowed down that target audience, you're going to go back and figure out that criteria and know exactly who you're talking to. We need to get them to actually follow your brand, right? You need to actually get them to follow you on social media. So why do people follow a brand? These are ranked in order. I'm going to go through them a little bit quickly. But A, they actually like your company. If they like you, they're going to follow you on social media. That's kind of a no-brainer. They will like you if they want to be notified of specials and promotions. So if you do Flash Friday sales, if you do back-to-school campaigns, if you do any of those types of sales or promotions in your business, they want to know that. They want to take advantage of those promotions, so they will follow you so they don't miss those notifications. They want to learn about your product and services. You offer guitar lessons. Great. I want to learn how to play the guitar. It probably makes sense for me to follow you. You teach what I want to learn. I'm interested in that service. I'm likely to follow you. They will also follow if they want to stay up to date on brand news. Did you hire more people? Are you expanding? Did you open a new location? Are you moving locations? Do you have new merchandise coming in? Do you have things going on for the holidays? Are you participating in events, charity events, all those sorts of things? Those tie into brand news that people want to know. And this is low on the priority category for them. And finally, providing brand feedback. Who has gone on Yelp to write a good review? How exceptional was the service to get you to write a good review? Like, it had to be like amazing for you to write a review. How many people have gone on Yelp and written a bad review? And how bad was the service? Like, it was kind of bad. But you, like, legit had to go tell everybody about it. People will spread bad news way more than they'll spread good news. So they will follow you on social media to give you good feedback, but that's a very low-ranking priority. Because they really, really, really have to like you and want to give you really positive feedback and follow you. That almost makes them a die-hard for them to follow you for that reason. So you get these followers, you've attracted them to your page, you have to keep those followers, and to do that you have to keep them engaged. Because it's one thing to get them on your Facebook page or your Instagram account or your Twitter account, but if you don't keep them engaged, they're going to leave. Why are the reasons people leave pages? Again, in order, too much self-promotional content. It's all about you, and we don't care. How many times have you seen a post from a company where it's like, we're amazing! We have more stuff for sale. Did we tell you we're amazing? Did you know we're doing this now too? Did you know we have this available? Did we tell you we're amazing? That is not social. It's called social media for a reason. That's not social. Boring content. Well, you roll through, whatever. It's a meh-type content. It's not engaging. If that's all you're creating, why would people want to continue to follow you and engage with your content? So what I usually tell my clients, what I usually tell audiences, is I want you to go look at your content on your business profiles. You can do it as soon as the session is over. You can do it on Monday when you get back to the office. I want you to look at your content not from you as a business owner, not from you as the marketer, not from you as the employee of the company, but to go look at it as an end user, to go look at it as if you were actually interested in following that brand. Would you, as a human being, interact with that content? Chances are, no. And if that's what your response is, then it sucks and it's time to stop. Okay? I don't pull punches, people, it sucks. It's okay. But you can make it better. You can get better content. You can create better strategies that is not boring and it's not overly promotional. We're going to talk about some of those things, and there's lots of other resources I have available for you to talk about that kind of stuff to give you advice on that. Another reason people will unfollow a brand is overuse of automated responses. We thank you so much for your comment. We will review this in a timely manner and get back to you as soon as possible. Meh. Peace out. I ain't got time for that. I took time to leave you a comment, and that's what you're going to reply to me? Honey, I'm out of here. So you need to be responsive as a human being and actually interacting with them. And look at that, my phone's ringing. That's going to be really fun. I'm live streaming right now, so that's going to just interrupt the live streaming. They will also unfollow you if you send too much content. Less is more, people. More is not more. Gone are the days of posting 5 times a day. If you're posting 5 times a day, I am unfollowing you faster than you can believe. Because I don't care that much about you, and you do not have that much quality content to give me 5 times a day. Unless you are maybe like a major sports team. Then you have enough content for 5 days, 5 times a week. If you're a news agency, you maybe have enough content for 5 times a week. The average small business, you maybe have enough content for twice a week. So if you feel the pressure to post more content, you can go back and be like, Jen told me I don't have to. It's okay. Yes, yes. Mic drop, you can all go home. Another reason they will disfollow or unfollow you is for lack of engagement. If you're not responding to people, if you're not encouraging their conversations and dialogues, if you're not having that social component, they will leave you. Or bad press or poor customer service. So there's always examples that we hear of a company that does something bad, it shows up in the news, and it's like a mass exodus, no one wants to be affiliated with that person, that brand, that sort of thing. That is a big happening, but it's an uncommon reason because those things don't usually happen all that frequently. Okay, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of marketing to all the different generations and what that looks like for you to create your content. So I already asked, who's my baby boomers? Hands up for all the boomers in the audience. Yes, love all of you. So typically born in the 1946 to 1964 range. Previously, the largest financially important demographic. And I said previously because you won't own it anymore. But no, really, the boomers for the longest time were the most financially dependent for the marketers. You guys were the ones that held the buying power. You were the ones with the families and the homes and the cars and all those sorts of things. But now, the baby boomers are grandparents. Most of them are on some sort of fixed income. They are either retired or nearing retirement. And so they're looking at life a little bit differently from a financial perspective. They may be buying a lot of baby clothes and maybe not so many fancy cars. But boomers are also travelers. They're getting to do the things that they didn't get to do when they had families. They're exploring, they're jumping in an RV and traveling the country. They're going off to Europe for 3 weeks to explore the world. They're getting out and doing things that they never got to do, so they're in this whole new exploratory phase. When it comes to online activities, boomers are typically cautious. They're a little skeptical. They don't trust these whole things online. Like, you want me to get in the car because an app on Uber told me I could get in the car with a stranger? Who are you? We were always told you don't talk to strangers and you don't get things off the internet. Now we're jumping into cars off of the internet. What is wrong with people? Right? It doesn't make sense. Baby boomers will typically trust people, so they trust people in store, and they trust personal interactions one-to-one more than they trust online interactions. So they are more likely to shop in store. You're more likely to put on clothes, get in your car, drive 20 minutes, go to the store, talk to the salesperson, trust their advice because they work in the store, they must know what they're talking about, buy the product, get in your car, drive home, plug it in, and then it doesn't work. Damn that. But that's typically how you always interacted in terms of a buying power, and that's still where you typically are most comfortable. Generally, and again, these are all very general statements, and there's exceptions to every rule. Generally, baby boomers will hang out on Facebook and on LinkedIn. So if your target audience is boomers, those are the places you want to focus. When it comes to creating content for the boomers, you want more mature context. Hi, how are you? It's great to meet you. I'm so glad you're having a great time here at the conference. None of this, yo, girl, what's up? If I said that to somebody who's 65 years old, they're like, huh? What? You want darker colors, more contrast. This is actually a subliminal messaging typically favored by older people, partially because it's actually a vision change that we go through biologically. So bold colors and deep saturation and contrast actually make it easier to recognize, but typically a more mature brand is recognized as a darker, deeper color. We want to appeal to their lifestyle. Talk about the fact that if they want to come in and take music lessons, they can do it on a Wednesday at 10 a.m. They don't have to wait till the weekends when it's busy and the kids are running around. You can tie in the fact that they have more freedom in their schedule, or that they're traveling and doing all these amazing things. How does that tie in with your publication, with your services, and those sorts of things? You want to keep the calls to action simple when it comes to boomers. None of this like run around like this, go here, comment over here, go to this page, follow this link, go on. No, you just lost them. You want to say, click on this link. Super easy. You want to say, call us. Come into the store. Keep calls to action to one step. It'll make them more comfortable, they're more likely to trust it, and they're more likely to move through it without any complications. Here's an example from, and I get really close to the screen because you don't have glasses and I can't read it. The music and sound retailers. So this is a post that came out on their page, and this is their Facebook page, and it says, Suzanne, I don't know how to say her last name, Browder, Executive Director of the Dadiano Foundation, has led a group that has won the Music and Sound Award for Outstanding Community Service 6 consecutive times. Find out why she thinks, or what she thinks about this accolade, her greatest influence, and much more. It's well written, it has good grammar. Is that you?
Right there.
Sorry, sir.
Make sure you have a screenshot. Make sure you have proof that this was used in a presentation. You're actually doing something right. And I love that you're literally front and center. It's totally not planned. And I've had this before where I've actually gone to industry groups and I've heard examples that the people who actually create the content are in the audience. I always love when that happens. I just randomly find these things. I don't know what I'm looking for, but I found them. But this is mature context. It's well written, good grammar. It's good English conversation. It's got a darker color tone to the image. It's a bolder color distinction. It talks to the lifestyle, being an executive director, that she's doing this award in community service. This is typically more valuable to an older generation. And it kept the call to action simple. Find out what she thinks. There's the link. Super simple. Hit almost every single one of those points in one single post. Good job.
Oh.
You'll be available at lunch, taking questions and signing autographs. It's totally okay. So the Gen Xers. Who are my Gen Xers? Born 1965 to 1980. Yes! Hello, my Gen Xers, you poor neglected people!
Amen.
You are literally the ghosts when it comes to marketing. Nobody cares about you. There's a silent generation. No, you guys are the forgotten generation. When it comes to marketing, nobody cares about Xers. It's millennials and it's boomers. And it's ridiculous, but we never talk about the Gen Xers. I don't know why, we just never do. So I love you. I appreciate every one of you. So Gen Xers are typically parents. A lot of them have children. They're the most largely divorced generation. Right? I'm hearing all the yup. Most of them are executives. They're at senior levels of their careers. So they've been in the career force for a while. They're working their way up. They're not anywhere near retirement, but they're high on that food chain. They are career transient. They've worked for multiple organizations, multiple companies. They usually stay maybe 3 to 5 years, maybe 7 years, and they move on to something else. They're not going to pick one company like the boomers and stay there for 30 years. They're typically entrepreneurial. They're like, sticking to the big guy over there, I'm going to start my own business. Yes. They're typically homeowners. They like the stability, and they grew up in a generation where homeownership was still very normal. And they're typically a fixed location. So although they're career transient, they usually pick a place to stay, and they're going to stay there. They may literally live within miles of where they grew up. Typically, the Gen Xers fall into those demographics. Oh, they're cynical. Yeah, you all nod your heads. Yeah, I know you're all cynical. It's fine. You're not so trusting, it's okay. You're comfortable online. You grew up enough with the online mentality that you're comfortable, that you don't love it, but you're comfortable with it. And they will shop in-store and online. They're kind of comfortable with either one. They're kind of on that cusp of how the millennials and the boomers interact and how they grew up. So the Gen Xers are kind of that overlap between the two. Gen Xers typically prefer Facebook for personal use, business use, friends and family, that sort of thing. They love Twitter. Do my Gen Xers love Twitter? No? I'm getting some of those. Okay. So you're my outliers. I love you. I don't love Twitter either. I don't. But typically, the Gen Xers love Twitter, and women in the Gen X division generally love Pinterest. It actually started with that, right? Yes! Yes, ladies, yes! Guys, all those dinners you're eating? Pinterest, you can thank them later. And all those little kids' crafts that you got roped into on the weekend? Pinterest, honey, Pinterest. So what are you doing to create content for your Gen Xers? You have conversational context. It doesn't have to be that super mature, it doesn't have to be super slight, but it has to be conversational, it has to be a dialogue. They are cynical, so you need to have a conversation with them, not talking at them, not talking down to them, not telling them what to do. It has to be a dialogue and a conversation. Again, darker colors, more contrast, similar to kind of the boomers in a general context of what image tones were. You want to provide proof to counter that cynicism. If you can literally put something that says, here's a data point, that makes them happier. Just a statement to say a statement, they're kind of like, I'm not so sure about that. But if you can prove to them that that is really the case or that is the statement, they're more likely to follow through or believe it. And silly humor. SNL, like seriously, you Gen Xers love the SNL movement, all like this funny memes and all those sorts of things. Like all that really silly, goofy humor, that's great for a Gen X audience. Taylor guitars. Any Taylor guitars people? All right, so maybe we have a 2 for 2. So buying a guitar as a gift for the holiday season, it's important to pick a guitar that's comfortable and easy to play, whether you're shopping for a novice or an expert player. Learn how Taylor's player-friendly designs set apart from the rest, and then they have the link. It's conversational. They're not talking down to you. They're not giving you a directive. They're having a conversational type context. It's a little bit more relaxed than the previous example. It's a little bit less formal. Not perfect grammar, but it's conversational grammar. It's in the image is bold color contrast. So the dark clothing against the white background makes it pop. It's easily appreciated in terms of that color component. They provide the proof. Learn how we set ourselves apart. They're giving you the proof to tell you why they're different. They're not just saying, oh, we're better. They're saying, here's why we're better. We have proof to back it up. And humor, although this isn't a meme or silly humor, the people in the photo are laughing. They're having fun. It looks like they're enjoying something funny. So again, a great component of what makes a good piece of content for Gen X. Who are millennials? Yes. We have a really good distribution of people in this audience. I love it. So the millennials were the ones born 1980 to 2000. So for the millennials in the room, you'll appreciate this. We are not children.
Yes.
God, I hear one more time with the kids. Honey, I'm almost 40 years old. I am no kid. Sometimes I feel slack like one, but that doesn't mean I am one. It's okay. We are now the largest financially responsible demographic. Why? Because we're the ones spending all the money. We didn't grow up in the same environment of penny pinching as the boomers did. We're more likely to spend our money and live paycheck to paycheck and not put money in savings. Not saying it's smart, just saying it's what we do. We're also parents, so we've got kids. We've got the cars, we've got the house payments, we've got to buy the food, we've got to buy all the clothes, we've got to pay for all the trips, do all the things. We're the ones spending the money. Typically, like I said, parents, renters. Most millennials will not buy a house. Not saying they can't buy houses, not saying they don't buy houses. But in general, we are renters. We like to be transitory and be able to pick up and move if we so choose. Buying a house is not conducive to that lifestyle. Millennials are typically managers. They're at that mid-level career. They're moving up. They're not quite the executive. They're not at the top of their career, but they're moving up. They are decision makers. They are powerful people in a buying space. They are powerful people in a work environment. A lot of them are business owners. A lot like the Gen Xers, kind of like, oh, I'm not working for anybody else. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to start a startup. I'm going to work for a startup. I want to feel like I'm a part of something. I don't want to be over here just punching the clock. I'll work 80 hours a week because it's about something that makes me feel good about myself. Again, not saying it's right or wrong, just saying that's how we are. And again, we are transient type generation. We are extremely questioning. We'll question everything. Huh? Are you sure about that? I don't think so. I'm a research savvy. So here's an example to kind of delineate the three audiences. Let's say you didn't know who I was. You hadn't met me this morning. Let's say I wanted to come to the NAM tour last night, but I was busy finishing these slides. But let's say you met me last night, and there's a group of us. And I'm like, my name's Jenn Herman. I'm the world's forefront blogger on Instagram marketing. I've written all these books. I've done all these amazing things. I know all these things. I go all these places. I'm amazing. The boomers in the audience are going to ask me some questions, have some dialogue with me, and be like, I trust her. Cool, that's what she does. Hey, did you hear? I just met Jenn Herman. She's the world's forefront blogger on Instagram marketing. And you're going to tell people with utter trust that that's who I am because that's what I told you. The Gen Xers in the group are probably going to be like, she's probably like, knows some stuff, but whatever. They kind of let it slide. We're going to drink, it's cool. Zach's nodding at me, you know it's true. I know who you are, it's all good.
Not you, Jenn.
No, not me, I know, it's fine. The millennials in the group, by the time I finish talking, they have their phone out and they just Googled Jenn Herman and they go, yep, look, he just did it! He literally just did it! I love you! Yes! You're the best audience ever! I want to come back every year. I love you guys. This is amazing. The millennials will literally pull out their phone and Google me the moment I tell them who I comfortable with. It doesn't mean one is right or wrong. It's just knowing that difference and how to be able to communicate with them. Millennials are also instant gratification. We do online shopping, next day delivery. I don't want to wait 2 weeks for shipping. I'll pay $35 to have it tomorrow because I want it now. I was looking for yellow shoes because I was debating about wearing this jacket. And I was looking for yellow shoes. I'm not going to go to the mall and buy no yellow shoes. I went online. Did not find the ones I wanted, so I wore red. It's totally okay. But I was like, I would have paid for next day shipping to get those shoes to my house. I wanted them right now, honey. That's how millennials are. We are in a world of instant gratification. You want a question, you got an answer. We did not have to go to the library. Well, I did. But in general, you did not have to go to the library, pull up the encyclopedia, hope that it was the right information you needed to finish that school paper. We had the internet at our fingertips to get any questions, anything we wanted, find out any review of any product. How many of my millennials have walked into a store to buy a product, because you actually did walk into a store for a rare, freak incident, and you actually looked at that product and Googled it and checked out the reviews on that product before you actually bought it in the store? Look at the hands, people. Yes. We are incredibly savvy with that type of stuff, and we refuse to accept anything at face value. We will question everything. And obviously, digital literacy. We grew up with this technology. We're incredibly savvy with it. We're incredibly quick with it, and we want to have that type of communication. Millennials prefer to use Instagram, Snapchat, sort of, depending on the age range, and Facebook for family. We know that our parents, aunts, and uncles, and everybody are on Facebook, so we hang out on Facebook too. We don't want to leave you guys alone, but our stuff is usually going to be over on Instagram and that sort of content. So what does millennial content look like? Trendy and fun. Emojis, Flashback Fridays, all those sorts of things. We want trendy content. We want things that are fun. We want light, bright colors, so brighter is better. Did you notice the color pattern I had on the slides? I know. And I'm also a little obsessed with pink, although you wouldn't know them after today. But usually I'm like pink, although I can tell. So I'm not very well there. But it's brighter. It's more catchy to a younger audience. Or, because of the whole Instagram aesthetic, which drives me nuts, it's the whole muted, very blush tones, the very kind of like translucent, which, ugh, thank God it's going away. But that's still kind of a thing. You can tell how I really feel about it. You want to back up your claims. If you're saying something to millennials, you better be prepared to be questioned and challenged on it. You got to back up that statement. You have to have proof of those things or be able to stand your ground on that specific issue. You want to be able to provide quality educational content. Quality educational content should be across the board. Everybody wants to learn. We don't stop learning because we hit a certain age. We always want to learn. We always want to share educational content. But millennials absorb educational content. Fun facts, like behind-the-scenes type things that make them feel like they know more than their friends did. Like, that's why Instagram takeovers are so amazing, because the celebrity takes over the account of, E! News, and they share what it's like to get ready for the Oscars, and everybody watches those stories, because now they have this insight into a life they wouldn't normally get to see. It's not necessarily educational, like I learned something, but it's educational in the sense that now they can go to their friends and family and be like, did you know that so-and-so does this, so-and-so lives here, so-and-so has this person on their team. They feel like they know more because you gave them an inside look at something. So when you can provide educational content and make themselves feel smarter, they will eat it up. So what does it look like? Here's an example from Green Music here in San Diego. Do we have Green Music in the house? All right, one for free. So in this case, they did Tip Tuesday. Did you know that listening to music can help you exercise? And they have a bunch of emojis. This happens because listening to music can drown out your brain's cries of fatigue as our body realizes we're tired and wants to stop exercising. It sends signals to the brain to stop for a break. Listening to music competes for our brain's attention and can help us override those signals of fatigue. So, why is this good for millennials? Well, have you seen the yoga pant obsession of my generation? We at least like to look like we're working out, people. But it's trendy. They have the Tip Tuesday, which is a very kind of trendy type theme. They have the emojis that tie it into a younger demographic. They don't have necessarily the bold color, but this is that more soft, muted color, so it's a lot of like brightness factor. The background is very kind of muted and a very singular color palette. They're backing up their claims. They're saying, this is why music is good. They're literally telling you, and it's providing educational content. all in one piece of content. All right, you guys, it is about your audience when you're creating this content. I always tell people, I really don't care about you. I care about your audience. I don't care about what you want to create. I don't care about what you have to say. I care about what your audience wants and needs. Because if you give them what they want and need, if you give them what they actually want to interact with, what they need to hear, then they're going to like you, they're going to follow you, they're going to interact with your content, and they're going to buy from you. And if they're buying from you, guess what? You get money, which means you win, and which really means I really did love you and I do care about you, I just told you I didn't. In the long run, I do care about you. I want you to be successful. That's why I'm here. I want to teach you. I want to help you learn. But if it's always about you, then your audience isn't going to get what they want and they're not going to interact. So you need to put all of your content in the context of your audience. So where should you be? Where do you need to be on social media? First and foremost, you need to be where your audience is. I just told you the typical favorite platforms for the different generations. Figure out where your audience is. Look at your demographics. You can log into your Facebook page right now and it will tell you who your target audience or who your audience is on Facebook. Tell you their age range, tell you male and female, their geographical locations, when they're active online. You can learn all that right now just by opening your pages. Instagram will tell you the same thing. LinkedIn pages will tell you the same thing. So that will give you an idea of who your audience is on those platforms. And here's the thing. You may have 2 different audiences on 2 different platforms. So you have the same message to 2 different audiences. I talk to Instagram one way, I talk to Facebook another way. Same message. Yo, what up? Hi, how's it going? 2 different messages or 2 different contexts of the same message. So you need to know who's on each one of your platforms so you can make sure you're crafting the right content. You want to rely on social listening. What are people saying about your brand? There are tools out there to do this. A lot of dashboard tools will allow you to monitor hashtags, will allow you to monitor mentions and those sorts of things. What are people saying about your brand? Who are those people? Who are the people that are always posting about you? Who are the people that are always talking about coming into your store, reading your magazines, visiting your websites, any of those sorts of things? People are talking about you online, you just don't know it. You got to find them, and if you can find out who those people are, now you know who your target audience is because they're already out there creating the content. Analytics will tell you this as well. You can go look at your Google Analytics on your website. That will tell you who's coming to your website and where they're coming from. Are they coming from social media? They're coming from search. That will tell you who your audience is. And guess what? You can ask them. I know it sounds kind of shocking to have personal human interactions, but you can. You can literally walk up to somebody who walks into your store and say, "Hi, do you use Facebook?" Great, we have a Facebook page. You can have an actual conversation with them or ask them, where do they normally hang out? What do they do? If you've got kids coming into your studio where you're teaching music lessons on the weekends, you don't have to ask them. They're just going to tell you, like, oh, I already posted it to Instagram, aka this side of the room that already posted me to Instagram. They'll tell you that's what they're doing. So just pay attention to what your audience is doing, and that will tell you where you need to be. And you also need to look at where you can create the content consistently and comfortably for you. So it's easy for you to say, okay, well, my audience is on Instagram, but if you've never touched Instagram, that's going to be a hard place to get started. You're going to come out looking like an amateur. You're going to come out looking like you don't know what you're doing because you don't. And that's okay. You have time to learn. But maybe you get more comfortable on Facebook. Maybe that's where you're comfortable. You know that platform, and you're comfortable creating content there and creating things that make you feel like you're seeing success with social media, that then you can do the research on Instagram, learn Instagram, and then start translating those lessons over to your Instagram account to build up an Instagram audience. You don't have to be everywhere at the same time. That is a myth that I wish would go away. If you're active on one platform and do it well, I'm okay with that. Then add another one. Then add another one. Don't feel like you have to be everywhere. Go where it's comfortable for you and where your audience is hanging out. Find that happy medium, and that's where you will be successful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I am Jenn Herman, and I'm here all day.
All right, millennials, do your session eval on your phones, Gen Xers, and boomers who have paper and pens in the back. Thank you, Jen, once again. Let's get it over to Jen. She will be here.